What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Scene Invaders podcast channel. I'm Chad.
I'm Carly.
And this is Chad and Carly's Creepy Corner. So this week, guys, in case you think like my recommendations aren't usually unhinged enough, what we're going to talk about is vampires. And as we always state with things like this, we're not saying these are the best vampire movies ever made. These are just some of our favorites or things that we think need a little bit more attention. And as you'll see, my recommendations are maybe controversial and kind of all over the place, but I have to be true to myself, guys. So yeah, we've made slides and we're going to pull those up and I'm going to get us started tonight. And this is probably my most controversial choice in some ways because I could see a lot of people arguing that this is not a vampire movie because it is definitely not your traditional vampire movie. But I've always thought of Dr. Sleep, directed by Mike Flanagan, as a vampire movie. Psychic vampires, they're after your essence and not your blood, but they operate in very much the same way. And this is a movie that actually blew me away. I like Mike Flanagan. I always have. He's always been successful. I'm not sure why I doubted it, but I was just like, there's no way this is going to be good. And to be fair, I never did read the books. I did not know what the sequel to The Shining was even about. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this movie, like I said, it absolutely blew me away. I think Stephen King is very vocally on record saying that he absolutely hates Stanley Kubrick, The Shining.
Yeah.
Even though that is absolute horror classic, beloved by so many people, including me. I think it's a masterpiece. But yeah, Stephen King didn't like it. So Mike Flanagan comes in with a sequel to a movie that is notoriously hated by the author and has the task of trying to, again, make a sequel to The Shining that actually does honor Kubrick and try to appease Stephen King in the process. And I mean, if anyone's done it, he's definitely had the most success with Stephen King adaptations of anyone, I would say. And he pulls it off. I think this movie is completely riveting from start to finish. I didn't know what the story was, so it was all a surprise to me. And Rose the Hat, the main baddie in this, and her group, and them like basically torturing kids to suck their essence out. Really wild stuff. And yeah, a big fan.
Yeah, including one of the friend of the show, Jacob Tremblay.
Jacob Tremblay. He will make his way into every episode.
Every show. That's right. Every episode.
He's so ingrained in like our brains and our thoughts that we just are unknowingly choosing him. I didn't even remember he was in this.
And but Rebecca Ferguson has never looked better either. Super fucking smoking in this.
Yes. And she is genuinely menacing and a badass and all of that. And yeah, this was a completely successful movie. This one I think kind of flopped when it came out. I don't know honestly if it's really even ever like gotten word of mouth, like if it's ever picked up steam in that department. But if for some reason like you skip Dr. Sleep like I initially did, just thinking don't, it's so good, guys.
Yeah, very good.
All right. And Miss Carly, so many. Yeah, I have a ton too. There were a bunch I wanted to choose, and like I always do, like I just want to bring it to things that maybe people haven't thought about for a long time or never seen or heard of, and yeah, so that's where we're at.
All right, so I have quite a few honorable mentions. I just had to throw these out here. I know some of them obviously are pretty popular. A lot of people probably know about them. Some of them maybe not so much. Probably one where people might not know a lot about is Stakeland. And that is just, very low budget, but it's post-apocalyptic vampire type movie, coming of age thing where a guy is basically brought on under the wing of a vampire hunter, and you kind of get to grow along with the character as they are making their way towards somewhere that's supposed to be safer from vampires.
Yeah, I still need to see this.
Yes,
you brought it up recently. So recently on the podcast, we all chose a movie each week, basically, for everybody to watch and discuss. And we each picked like 4 at the beginning. We would whittle them down, and this was one of Carly's 4 that she initially put out there. So I was kind of surprised, honestly, to not see this like on the main list. So yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't put it on there because I've already talked about it a lot, but definitely want to keep talking about it until everybody goes to see it or watches it. But
Including me, guys. I
yes.
need to watch it.
Then we also have Near Dark, which came out in the 80s. That's pretty popular. It's almost kind of like a reunion for part of the Aliens crew because you have several of the actors that were also in Aliens in it. And then, of course, The Lost Boys. That actually was on, that was number one, I think, on my summer horror list. So I couldn't really put it in the top three, even though it deserves to be there in my top three. But yeah, obviously everybody knows about that one. That's a classic. And
I've been craving a rewatch of this so badly.
Yeah, it's good. I think I watched it maybe a month or two ago.
Yeah, I watched it for the casting, but like even since then, like I've been itching to want to like put it on again. It's just the epitome of comfort watch for me.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have the kind of Western vampire flick. It's John Carpenter's Vampires. I want to say that's probably his last movie that he made that I really liked.
Okay.
But that was fun. That's got James Woods in it. Dracula is pretty fucking vicious in it. Okay. So I really liked that. Have you seen it?
I have not. I think this is crazy that I haven't too. I don't know how or why I have not seen this. And actually I own the rights to, I don't know how you say, like when you own the digital copy of something, but I have the digital copy of this and I have not watched it. So I need to.
Yes, it's good. Definitely watch it. I definitely recommend it.
And I was watching vampire movies like leading up to this or whatever. And that was one that I meant to do it, especially since it's like right there sitting in the digital library, but I did not. So yeah.
And then of course, everybody's favorite and also multiple people's first DVD, including mine, which was Blade.
Okay. So, nice.
And that is, oh man, I love that movie. It's so much fun. And like,
I am a huge fan of Blade 2.
See, I like Blade 2. I'm one of those people that prefers the first one. I know I don't know. It's just something about the first one I like a little bit better. Maybe it's because it's like tighter, but yeah, I like the second one. Don't get me wrong. But if I had to choose between the two, I'd put Blade on before Blade 2.
Okay. Once upon a time, I had all of the Blade DVDs. It was not my first DVD. My first DVD, actually, interestingly enough, was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, okay.
So, but Blade, yes, excellent choice.
And as he says, as what's his name? Oh my God, hello. Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Yes, as Wesley Snipes says, there's only been one Blade, and there's only ever going to be one Blade. So.
I concur. I mean, it is a property I would kind of like to maybe see them try again, but I think it's already been done probably about as well as it's going to be. And yeah, I don't know.
And I like Mahershala Ali too. When they said that they were going to cast him, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But then it went in development hell. And at this point, I'm just like, no, we don't need it. He's too old. He's probably about the same age that Wesley Snipes was, or maybe even older than he was in the first one. So
I remember during Deadpool and Wolverine when Blade came out, and it was just so nice to see that. It felt so good. I was like, oh God, yes.
Yep,
yes, great choices. Now we're moving on to our main choices. And for me, guys, my number 3 choice is a movie that I have so much nostalgia for. It's certainly not really a horror movie. I guess you could call it a horror comedy. But I grew up watching the absolute fuck out of Once Bitten with Jim Carrey. I don't know if this was his first role, but I want to say I think maybe it is. And this is again kind of a horror comedy about a vampire countess played by Lauren Hutton, who is fierce, and I love her. And she needs her a virgin, and Jim Carrey just so happens to be that. And it's basically all about the pursuit of trying to get him and get his blood before he loses his virginity. And this is from 1985, and it feels 1985 as fuck. in every best possible way you could ever imagine. Total comfort watch. It is fun. It's funny. I think it's still funny. I saw this. It's been a little while since I've seen it, probably a year maybe, but
Mhm.
I still really enjoyed it then. I mean, part of that might be nostalgia on my part because I grew up so heavily involved watching this movie, but it's a great one, guys. And if you've forgotten about this or somehow never seen it, do it, guys. So, so good. All right.
Ooh, okay. So for my number three, I have What We Do in the Shadows, and that came out in 2014. This is basically it's written and directed by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. It's a mockumentary style movie. Kind of think real world with vampires, and we kind of follow. We basically follow a group of vampires sharing a house in New Zealand as they try to adapt to modern day life by bringing in a new vampire.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Man, this movie is so fucking funny. Apparently, it took over 10 years for them to complete this film from coming up with
What?
the original, yes, from coming up with the original idea to getting the script together, getting the actors, and then filming. And so
Okay.
they basically, Taika and Jermaine completed the script over that extended a period of time, and then they hired the cast, got the location, had an idea for each scene they wanted to film, and then they just threw away the script to essentially
Oh,
improv
wow.
the entire movie.
Okay. And it
So yeah.
worked.
Yeah, because they ended up filming over 125 hours worth of
Holy
footage, and yeah, and it took like fucking over 12 months to edit down to a 90-minute movie.
wow. I
Yeah.
know there is a series based on this as well. Is it
Yes.
the same actors from the movie that are in the series?
It is not. It's actually a
Okay.
different set of characters, which I think really works
Oh,
for it.
okay.
I think I've watched maybe the first 5 or 6 episodes of the series. What I watched, I really liked, and that actually ran for 6 seasons. I think it just finished up last year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
could see this kind of concept really working as a
Oh
series for
yeah.
sure. And especially even like God, even if you did each season like a different group or whatever, I think that would be
Mhm.
really cool. Yeah, good choice. And it's kind of funny that we both started off with kind of like horror
Comedy,
movies
yeah.
too. That's how we roll here. We didn't even know we were doing it.
Mhm.
All right. So my next choice, guys, this was something that was, I think, well, I can't say that my number one choice probably really was, but this was basically, I think, pretty much always going to be on this list for me. This is Let the Right One In.
Mhm.
And there is an American remake of this called Let Me In that actually is pretty good too. But when I first saw this, I didn't really know anything about it going in. I didn't know it was a vampire movie. And there's just this like overarching feeling of like sadness and
Yes,
loneliness
melancholy.
and
Yes.
melancholy that hangs over this movie. And it's about, yeah, like I said, loneliness and kind of forming bonds on with all of these feelings coursing through you. And this little boy makes friends with a little vampire girl, basically, who lives in the same apartment complex or same apartment building. And yeah, it's really, it doesn't sound like it would be, but it is kind of a lovely story, sort of about
Mhm.
friendship. And it is sad though. And I if you've been watching, guys, I like sad shit, I like dark shit, I like depressing shit. But yeah, this is just a very uncommon and very interesting take on vampires, and especially dealing with kids and in this way. And it's not like the most action-packed movie in the entire world. It's not about that. It's much more about emotions and feelings. And yeah, it's a hell of a ride. And it does get, I mean, it gets pretty brutal in a couple
Mhm.
parts. But yeah, this is, if you have not seen, or if you're completely averse to subtitles, like I said, Let Me In is also pretty good. But this is the one, guys. In my opinion, this is the
Yeah.
one to go for. If you haven't seen it, make this a priority for real.
And it almost made it on my list as well. I
Yeah,
was like, "Ah, I'm glad I didn't put it there though."
it's one of the
See,
movies like ever since I saw it the first time, like I've just kind of never really stopped thinking about it. Like it just really had quite an effect on me. I think it
Mhm.
was just going in so blind and not knowing anything about what this was about, and it just being again such an unconventional vampire tale that really stuck with me. And it's a very moody
Oh
movie.
yeah.
All right. Oh,
Right.
yes.
I well listen, this one actually has shown up on my list before, but I just had to put it in here again. So for my number two, I went with From Dusk Till Dawn, which came out in 1996.
I
This
love
song,
this
oh
movie.
yeah, It's so good. The director is Robert Rodriguez, written by Robert Kurtzman and Quentin Tarantino. I mean, Salma Hayek has never looked hotter in this movie. It's just so much fun.
She's insane. Oh my God, she's insanely hot.
Yes, I love I love how it has the total tonal shift. Like halfway through the movie, you think it's kind of like a heist movie or a thriller. They're getting over the Mexican border, and then it turns into a fucking vampire movie.
Yes, God, so unexpectedly too.
And so many good actors too. I mean, fucking Gary Oldman, not Gary Oldman. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of my number one, but fucking Harvey Keitel, another great older actor. I loved his role in this. He was great. I loved everybody in this movie. It's just so much fun.
I'm a huge fan of this one. And yeah, that like tonal shift halfway through where it does go from basically just like crime thriller to like suddenly it's a vampire movie. It works. It really works in this. And it like if you really didn't know what you were getting into going in, you would be like, what in the fuck is happening? But yeah, this holds up too. Like it's a great rewatch. It's just mad fun. I love it. I revisit this every couple of years, I would say. All right. So for my number one, guys, if you listen to the podcast, I've talked about this movie already by saying I was not going to include it on this list. But here we are with it as my number one. And again, I'm not saying this is the best vampire movie ever made. And I could imagine someone watching this and wanting to punch me after seeing it, because this is most certainly not your typical vampire fare. But this is called The Transfiguration from 2016. And kind of in a lot of ways, like Let the Right One In, it's very much about loneliness and grief in a lot of ways, and growing up in not so great surroundings. And it's about a little boy who is kind of obsessed with vampires. And he meets a girl, and the lines between his obsession and reality start to blur a little bit. And it does kind of deal with vampires in a traditional sense, but it's hard to explain exactly what this movie does. This movie is deeply sad. Oh my God. It is heartbreaking. By the end of it, I was sobbing because it's just so incredibly sad to watch the surroundings that this boy is brought up in and how he's almost using this love of vampires and this reading about vampires and learning about them as an escape from his reality, living in an incredibly rough neighborhood. And just to see how his life ends up because of this. And oh God, it's so heartbreaking, but it's so fucking great. It is hard to maybe call this a horror movie. It does have some horror elements to it. This is much more of a very hard-hitting drama, again with some horror undertones, and one scene that is so alarming and so genuinely frightening because it's so real, and you don't normally get that kind of stuff in, especially like a vampire tale, because you are dealing with like a supernatural entity. But here, the reality of the situation makes this scene play out in a way that is just so hard to watch. And yeah, I cannot recommend it enough, guys. But you have, if you're going to watch this, be an adventurous moviegoer and don't think you're going into like a straight up horror movie. But I never hear anyone ever talk about this movie, and that is a shame because it needs to be seen by everyone, I think. But also get your tissues out.
Oh goodness! Well,
I love to cry.
I've never even heard of it. I've never.
Yeah, it was something I don't even remember how it came on my radar. And like I said, it's from 2016, so I probably saw it a couple of years after that. I would guess like a year or two. And I caught it just at home or whatever. And when it was over, I went upstairs, and the person I was living with at the time, I was like sobbing. I was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" And I was like, "The Transfiguration." Yeah, because it deals a lot with like kind of like inner city type of stuff, and it's just sad and heartbreaking, but it's wonderful. And if you are adventurous, like I said, yes, do it, guys. All right, and we have Miss Carly's number one.
All right.
Took everything I had not to.
Yeah, so I know I'm sure everybody is very familiar with this, and if you're not, then you absolutely need to watch it. But that is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Mhm.
And that came out in 1992, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. I would say it's definitely one of Gary Oldman's best roles, and unfortunately, also one of Keanu Reeves' worst roles.
Yes,
Poor Keanu. Nobody should ever make him try to talk with an English accent because it just does not work.
but it doesn't work in a way where it still works for me.
It's still funny. Yeah,
there's
it's
a
just
charm
called
to
Facts
it.
Happy.
I adore this movie. So if you guys didn't know, I was a vampire in high school. And I was obsessed with this movie when it came out. And when I slipped into my coffin every night for bed, I played the score to this like it was my job. This is
So
an excellent
good.
choice.
Yeah, it's just, Dracula, in my opinion, has never looked sexier
Yeah.
than being played by Gary Oldman. It's the whole movie is just sexy, moody, darkly romantic.
Mhm.
So many practical effects and creative in-camera tricks and effects that they used. Yeah, I just really, really like it. And of course, when Dracula says to Mina, "I have crossed oceans of time to find you," I'm like, oh, swoon.
Okay,
So
right, for real.
I wish somebody would cross oceans of time to find me. Like it
Okay,
just
for
seems
real.
like it's almost as good of a line that's in Terminator when Kyle Reese is talking to Sarah
Right?
Connor.
Hell
Like
yeah.
I've gone through time or whatever to find you. Or like it's I forgot what he says. It's basically something very similar to that. And Dracula may have actually stolen that from poor Kyle Reese.
Right,
We
right.
may never know. But
Yeah, this movie's like psychotic, it's sexy, it's visually, I think, a stunner. And I
Mhm.
think like the makeup and costuming and all of that in this is just, it just really,
Mm.
at the time that it came out, I just, again, it was in 92. So I saw this like right at the beginning of high school, and I just had never seen anything like this before. And it's always stuck with me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I really,
Mhm.
really love it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
But yeah, great choice. I love this. And like I said, it took everything I had not to pick this. I tried so hard to pick things that maybe just were not expected in a way. And
Mhm.
to my detriment, maybe sometimes, maybe to everybody else's if you're listening to
No.
my taste on things. But I know there are people out there who align with me in my taste and stuff like that,
Mhm.
like my weird off the wall, like vampire ish adjacent picks. But yeah, this was hard. This was the hardest one we've done yet because I love vampires. I always have. And yeah, I'd like many vampire films. I think it was you that I was actually talking about this with. There's also a book I could recommend called Lost Souls by Poppy Z. Bright.
Mhm.
And I have not read this for a really long time, so I can't exactly vouch for how adult Chad feels about this. But high school Chad read this book
Loved
like
it.
8 fucking times, and I loved it. It's like this very like gothic or like gothy, but like
Mhm.
pure goth, that kind of goth type of like just crazy, sexy vampires. Like, yeah, it's super fun, guys, and a good read. I've been meaning to reread that too, but again, only so much fucking time in the day, guy. So, what is next for Chad and Carly's Creepy Corner? So, before we came on here for this episode, I think what we're going to do, guys, is talk about the Halloween franchise. We've got like 10 weeks until Halloween, and there are so many movies in that franchise. It's a franchise that, even with some of the duds, I really like for the most part. I don't know why I like it so much because a lot of them just really aren't that good, but some of them are, like, I think in the category of so bad they're good in a way. We might have some videos that combine a couple of movies because there's like 13 total in this thing that we need to do in 10 weeks. But we are going to include Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, even though there is no Michael Myers in that. And the often hated and much debated Rob Zombie Halloween movies, which I have some hot takes with that probably aren't going to be very popular, up through the new David Gordon Green trilogy. Also, hot takes abound there for me as well. So this could be very interesting because I think Carly and I might have some opposing viewpoints on some of these movies.
Mhm.
I just thought it'd be fun and it feels right for the season. I mean, I live in Florida, so it's not exactly going to start cooling off here for me until like fucking January.
Right?
But it can still be spooky season, guys. So the Halloween thing is all going to culminate in a tier list at the end where we're each going to rank the entire series from our favorite to least favorite. And it's quite an undertaking, but I'm kind of excited to do it. And it gives me an excuse to go back through and watch all these movies. And some of them I have not seen for a really long time because they're so bad.
Right.
But I'm
And
hoping to find some joy in them.
yeah, well, no, and this gives me an excuse to watch all of them because I probably, besides Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I want to say Halloween is. I have not watched all the Halloween movies. Obviously, I watched the Rob Zombie ones, the David Gordon Green ones, the first couple ones, Halloween H2O. There's a few in the middle there that I heard were pretty awful. So I've never watched those. So this should be fun.
Have you seen Halloween 4?
Is that the one with
The little girl.
Danielle Harris?
Yeah.
I have not seen it.
Oh, okay. That's a very
Hers
popular
pretty good.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, people really like that one. The couple that followed that are a little dicier for sure, in my opinion. But yeah, it's going to be a fun discussion, guys. So like, subscribe, come back for all of that. And this week coming up on the podcast, we're going to be missing a member. So it's going to be a pretty casual podcast. We're just going to chat about what we watched this week. And then, like I said, next video you can expect from us is going to be Halloween. So thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.